I think we're ready to bring this meeting to order. Public, please hold your comments until the select board chairman, myself, opens the agenda items for public comment. When addressing the board, state your full name, both in person and on Zoom. It is suggested that you enter your full name as your ID on Zoom as well. I'll take a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
It's a new camera, huh? Yeah. That was good for you. Yeah, that's all right. We did it for 3 years, so. No.
Oh, would that not have anything to do? Chad moved, Wendy seconded. We all agree.
Yeah, it's not me, so.
Okay, I could have told you that. I think I could have told you. Oh, wait, no, I was like, there's not a single. No. Oh, yeah, all things friends. There aren't three devices.
All right, after our executive session, we are prepared to make a motion.
So I move that we authorize Brian Hinkle to terminate the contract with the contractor of the Northeast Harbor Village Center Improvement Project.
Seconded.
All in favor? Thank you. Right. I will take a motion to approve the minutes of May 16, 2020.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor? Appointments, recognitions, and resignations. Request appointment of Seth Young to the Seasonal Buildings and Grounds position effective June 16, 2025, at a rate of pay of $25.75.
Appointment.
Second.
All in favor? Request appointment of Richard Fredel as full-time firefighter paramedic at an initial base rate of $30.09 and rounding up, to be increased to $31.76, again rounding up, upon successful completion of a 6-month probationary period, effective date of July 7, 2025.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
4 motions made. Can I make a change in the pay rates, please?
Yeah.
Okay. Can we change the probationary rate to $29.7115? And the post probationary rate to $31.3621, please?
From 31 to 36.
No, $31.36 to 31.3621 is the new.
Hey, can we keep that to 2 figures for when in the future?
For transparency, because that's what our software, well, you have to reckon it to the percentage points. But we can,
Okay, that'll
it's
be.
just not.
'Cause I don't believe in the 100. Okay.
Do you want to?
You can do that.
Okay.
You tough make it change.
My point is, the most accurate figures.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Thank you.
And that's the last, you said that's the last of those positions that we authorized like 3 years ago?
Yeah, about 2.5 years it took to fill that.
Outstanding.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Well, it's, yeah, thanks. It's, we'll see how long it'll actually.
Well, anyway, it's a moment
Yeah,
of positivity.
breathe easy for a couple minutes anyway.
Okay.
Okay, consent agenda, Shellfish Committee minutes of March 27, 2025.
Move the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
All in favor? Select board reports. Select board reports. Unfinished business none presented. New business, Don Land LLC doing business at Jordan Pond House, 2928 Park Loop Road, Seal Harbor, request for liquor license renewal.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor? Scott Cole, 14C Street LLC, doing business as the Dockside, 14C Street, Northeast Harbor, request for liquor license renewal.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor? Review the Economic Development Committee letter to MDI Hospital regarding the inpatient labor and delivery unit dissolution.
Just need to acknowledge having read it.
No, I think we need to discuss it.
Yeah.
Can I,
Mhm.
again? I think it's a really good letter and it's well written. However, this is a very emotional topic, that people feel very strongly about. And I hesitate to allow, a committee of the town, to send a letter in an official capacity. I think in effect, you would be speaking for the town, and I think without a vote, we shouldn't presume that everyone agrees. So I think if the members of the committee want to personally send letters, that's one thing, but I think to do it as an official committee of the town is, I would not be comfortable with it.
I tend to agree.
Mhm.
I mean, as a resident, a citizen, some strong opinions, but can't call them official.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of agree that it's a great letter, and I think I do have concerns saying sort of everybody is gonna have those same feelings.
Have nothing to add.
Um. Glad to hear you guys say that, but my concern is that there was never a committee vote that I could find on the record. So why do these people get to present this as a committee letter? On the harbor committee, we have to take a vote to come to the to all agree to come to the select. Went through the last committee meeting, the development committee meetings minutes, and I saw no vote. I saw a very short discussion, one of the things. So I'm concerned that these two people are trying to get the town into something, their own agenda, not the committee's. Which bothers me tremendously.
And I think that's kind of what your comment was based on.
Actually, that's an additional comment. Yeah, good point.
Should I add anything? Yeah, my name is Carrie Sands. I'm one of the co-chairs of the Economic Development Committee, and I really appreciate the attention to process. This has been really illuminating for us. I appreciate your question too about the lack of a vote, and this was an idea that came up after one of our meetings. Some of the committee members approached me and suggested this idea, and we ran it by the group in email. I got feedback and crafted this letter together, and then learned that we needed to bring it to the select board, which I think is a great process. And this has been very illuminating and helpful to understand the proper process here, and I appreciate your feedback. I hope that's helpful to just give some background and context.
Thank you for the effort.
Sure. Thank you.
Gail.
My name is Gail Marshall. Julian Clifford is my husband, who's a member of the hospital board and has spent his entire career delivering healthcare to hundreds of thousands, actually, of Montpelier Valley residents. And I have long followed the activities of the hospital. I get that this is an emotional issue. I actually do think this letter that was presented is very overdrawn and reflects that emotionality in too intense a way. It's also moot. The hospital board has made it very clear that they struggled for a very, very long time to try to keep this very small obstetrical service afloat. And they have turned over every rock and stone that they possibly could to make that happen. And they can't do it. And so they regretfully made the decision that is effective at the end of the day on June 30th, that obstetrics will cease at the hospital. This is a one labor delivery room obstetric service. It had 30 deliveries last year. 15 of them were from MDI. Nearly half of those were by cesarean section, which is a very complicated medical procedure. The two surgeons at the hospital who are responsible for seeing that that's done competently and professionally have explicitly said they can't continue to do that with such a small number of deliveries. Everybody understands it's a loss. Though the people who run this hospital are women, the CEO is a woman, the chair of the board is a woman, the vice chair is a woman, the immediate past president is a woman, the CFO is a woman. They all get it. But they also have a responsibility to abide by state and federal regulations, to abide by standards of professional standards of care, to get malpractice insurance, which is very difficult when you're delivering so many babies, so few babies. And they just can't continue to provide this service in a way that guarantees the safety of everyone who comes to the door. And I think what's happened is that this community has been led into a very emotional vision of labor and delivery at this hospital, that it's this lovely, warm, intimate, nurturing, non-complicated vaginal delivery. And that's simply not the case, just by the statistics that talk about the number of C-sections, that the fact that I was told this by someone who's not part of the hospital, there was a woman who nearly died there a little over a year ago, because they couldn't stop her bleeding during the delivery and she had to be life flighted. So all of that gets overlooked because unfortunately the nurses union has touched off angst and fear and anger. You know, the woman who is the chair of the board lives in this town. And she doesn't live right in the village. She lives on kind of an out of the way private road. Not for the first time on Saturday night when she was leaving to go to dinner, she had her driveway blocked by protesters. And not for the first time. And they only left when she threatened to call the police. Her inbox of texts and mail is full of threats and anger and vitriol. Nurses got so flipped out when they participated in a noisy rally right underneath the windows of the ICU a few weeks ago, that some of them broke in through unlocked employee entrance and broke into the CEO's office to corner her and harangue her for like 20 minutes. I mean, the emotion that this has touched off is way out of proportion to the reality. If you Google out the hospital in Ellsworth, in January of 2023, they opened a brand new birthing center. They have 4 complete labor and delivery rooms. They have the services available. And when you say that, everybody says, well, the traffic now. Well, that's catastrophist thinking that if it's 15 MDI residents last year, that all of them are going to go into labor at 3 o'clock on an August afternoon, trying to get off the island. That problem can be solved. This town has ambulances. It could offer to help provide ambulance services to Ellsworth if people needed to get through the traffic. So I think the hospital is a canary in the coal mine, just like all the other canaries that we have. And instead of saying, let's try to fix the toxic air that's going to kill the canary, what this letter and these efforts do is say to the canary, please just keep breathing, just keep sucking it in. Something will happen and make it better. We need to focus our economic development and our zoning laws and all of this stuff on developing as robust a year-round community as we can. And that's how we should be turning our attention to. Thank you.
Else have a comment? Amend approved town council list to add Cotton law and evening.
I'll move.
Second.
Person requests for reduction in the setback requirement for their substation located at the intersection of Harborside Road and Peabody Drive in Northeast Harbor.
Approval of the request from Burson.
I'll second the motion so I can hear a little.
Say like, no.
Kim is trying to call in, she's having technical issues on her end.
Sean Thies with Haley Ward representing Versant.
Yeah.
So they want to construct a crushed stone pad to be able to bring a mobile substation into that lot. For times of maintenance, when there's outages, things like that. Working with the code officer, even though it's mobile, a mobile substation needs to meet setback requirements per the town ordinance. The existing substation that's there, I believe previously got variances to not meet the setback. There's a provision in the ordinance that is, if we can get approval from the abutting property owners, then those setback requirements can be reduced. So the town is a abutter on one side of the property. Consolidated Communications is the abutter on the opposite side. These are side setbacks that we're dealing with. There's an existing building on the site that'll be torn down, and that's the location where this pad would go for the mobile substation. So at this point, we're asking for be able to reduce the setbacks. It's no closer than the existing fencing and everything that's there now. It's not going to be any closer to the property line than that fence. It extends towards the road, but that setback is still met. It's the sides.
So just to clarify, this is a permanent.
It's the crushed stone pad, crushed stone on the ground is permanent. The mobile substation is not permanent. That gets brought in, parked there while they need it. Then it's taken off, maybe brought to a different substation somewhere else.
So that little building down there is gonna come down and this is gonna be in its place.
That's right.
Is it about the same size or I'm having trouble reading this little tiny.
Now, the pad in the substation, mobile substation, I think is a little bit bigger than the building that's there now.
I have trouble reading this.
We show, I have a full-size plan here, but I don't know if I have all the dimensions of that building.
Give me an idea, I mean.
Want me to bring the plan up so you can see it a little bit better?
When.
You should ask her. Yes, can you hear us?
Yeah.
So this is the existing building here, torn down. The outside of it is the crushed stone pad, and then this is
Oh,
area,
okay.
and here's the mobile substation unit.
So here's this road here.
Right.
This is parking here.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Setback.
So it's just gonna be further out this way, a little bit on each.
Correct. So the
Yeah.
existing fence comes down this way, he comes in.
And has Consolidated K already given you permission to?
We've talked to Consolidated, they've agreed, they don't see any issue with it, we haven't finalized the signed letter as the ordinance requires.
Anticipate any issues with that?
Nope, but we wanted to see.
Too close anyway with the existing building. Yeah.
This is existing.
This is the existing building that's there, that's gonna get torn down.
Yeah.
And this would be the new, substation.
Yeah.
There's a little path that goes up on the side there, a woods path.
Okay.
Is that gonna be over the path?
That's next to the telephone.
Oh, it's,
So
Yeah.
this over here was the Consolidated Communications building.
yeah, okay,
Thank you.
okay.
Right, is Kim? Can I speak?
She's connected, she can't, apparently she's not able to speak on things. Go ahead.
Well, we already moved in second.
Okay,
I'd like to hear if Kim has any concerns, like,
Let me text her.
Sorry. Even if she can text.
Call on the telephone.
She's connected on her phone. She doesn't know how to hear me.
Off the Zoom and call on her.
She's on her phone. She doesn't know how to unmute it.
oh,
So tell her to hang up the Zoom account and call one of us on their cell phone so she can speak on speaker and we can recognize her voice and confirm that it's her.
Give her a number,
Just tell her to get off the Zoom.
give her a number.
She says she has no concerns with the application.
okay.
Okay, good. Okay,
Thank you.
Then
all in favor?
Thank you.
Too late, kid. They already voted. They just wanted to know to make sure you had no concerns with the application.
Yeah, I have no concerns. I just wanted to let them know the existing brick building is 270 square feet. And there's two proposals that I received for Thurston. One was going to be 480 square feet, and the other one was going to be 320 square feet. So the mobile substation is larger in size.
It's temporary,
Well, it's gonna be the.
but the pad is probably
The pad,
larger.
the big-
320 is only 50 more square feet. Yeah. Very good.
Time that anyone's ever asked for a setback relief under the ordinance that allows this. I know I do have somebody that might be coming in the future in Otter Creek asking for the same request.
Well, case by case.
Case
Case
by
by
case.
case.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Kim.
This is a benefit to.
I'm good.
Welcome, sorry, I couldn't get it, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Request authorization to solicit competitive bids for a new model year van pickup truck. For who? By who?
W.
Works. Yeah.
Yeah, there.
Yeah.
I know, but
Yeah.
everybody does.
This is their regular running replacement to the CA. Yeah, just replacing a vehicle, yes, dude.
Move authorization.
Second.
All in favor? Consider releasing an amount not to exceed $92,594 from the fire equipment / engine reserve account number 4040-300-24471 to purchase battery operated extrication tools, lifting airbags and stabilization struts.
Move authorization to release that fund, those funds.
Second,
Nice.
but I have a question.
Yeah, me too. Go ahead.
I'm just curious, usually we get the balance of that fund. I assume there's plenty of money in there.
Didn't.
Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't see that.
It's 200 something.
Oh,
And I had a question, secondary question about, you're phasing out the gas powered equipment. Are we keeping that as a backup? Or are we trying to offload that to some other community or something? So there may be some small amount of revenue brought in.
There should be a small amount of revenue coming in. Yeah, yeah, I've been checking used prices. We'll put that up for sale, and recover some of that. Perfect. Yeah, the backups, we actually haven't redone it. We carry a set here in Northeast Harbor, and then we also, this is set to store, so. So if one set should go down, we can have another set usually within 15 minutes.
No, I mean, it's expensive equipment, so I was
It is.
assuming that if you're gonna phase out the gas, somebody else would want.
Yeah, they are 15 years old, but there is a market value for it. There is, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Motion?
We already
We got a second. All in favor?
Thank you.
Consider accepting an unconditional gift to the Mount Desert Fire Department for First National Bank in the amount of $200 in recognition of EMS Week.
I don't think we should argue about this. Move accepted.
second.
All in favor? Like the comedian there. Okay. Consider accepting an MMA Ed McDonald Safety Grant for the fire department in the amount of $1,624.52 exactly to purchase 2 cold water rescue suits.
Move acceptance.
Second,
All in
Thank you.
favor? Thank you. Consider accepting and authorizing the fire chief to sign a Maine Department of Public Safety EMS Stabilization Program grant agreement in the amount of $15,000.
move acceptance and authorization.
Second.
Thanks.
What is that? What?
One of his guys got a grant for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a state program, started, I think, a couple of years ago, sponsored or funded by the legislature. The main purpose is to help EMS services that are struggling in the state. So the state of Maine came out with this program to provide grants to EMS services in the state. The amount of money you're eligible is based on your call volume.
What does it do? I mean, it goes into like a general till, do you draw off it or something?
Well, the grant had certain things that are eligible, so you had to make out the grants and tell them what you were gonna spend the money on.
Okay,
And then they authorize, if it meets those requirements, they authorize the grant and then
Yeah.
funnel the money to you.
And you're gonna use it for life support training, which seems apropos considering you have some relatively new EMTs that were firefighters before and vice versa.
Yeah, it was funny. I just talked to our soon to be new EMS coordinator to ask him what the money was being used for, and he said that probably at least half of it, they want to get a couple of instructors up here from southern Maine to work on OB emergencies because of what's happening in Bar Harbor, to try to get our EMTs, you know, a little bit more in tune with that too. And then the other one is going to be for airways and things like that. So it's more advanced EMS training, yeah.
Thank you.
Authorized transfer of $909,000 authorized transfer of $909,248.78 from the town's First National Bank money market account to the town's operating account to ensure adequate cash flow.
Move approval.
Second.
Any discussion?
Can I just, it seemed like the operating account earns a better interest rate anyway.
Yes.
And then,
Yes.
but the second question, we're gonna be bringing our reserve account down to its minimum.
So that's not our reserve account, that's our money market account with excess cash.
And then, well, this is to alleviate the time between, well, we have expenses before the taxes have all come in. And then some of that, we'll vote again to move some money back into that at some point if we have extra.
Yes, but considering, and the reason why I put the interest rate in there is that it's something to think about that, with
Yeah.
the rate being lower, we might not want to move back money
Sure.
into that account and maybe go out for bid. It's just to sort of lay the groundwork for
Thank you.
that.
That's what I understood.
Perfect. Thanks.
All in favor? Okay. Public comment. Any public comment?
We're gonna set a time to,
Yeah, other business.
okay.
Comes next. Public comment.
Jim Bright, with Brian here, be helpful. Could we ask the state to do some serious patching between the new bridge and Eagle Lake Road? There's a couple holes in there that are probably to the other side. And ask them to maybe actually repave that when they get the new bridge done. If they do everything else but that one stretch, and that's gotta be one of the busiest roads on the island.
Yep.
Where is it, Jimmy, between Eagle Lake Road and where they're doing the Somerville Lane?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you have to go like this.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, you do.
I've driven around the island a lot in the last month. And it seems like every other road except for that section has been patched. And I know they'll patch the hole and then move on to the next one, even though there's one right beside it. But,
Yeah.
you know, but a little advice. Be helpful.
That good?
Yeah, we recall there were two projects prior to my time here, but I was president, redoing portions of 198 between Warner and to Eagle Lake Road. So those went in two different phases. Those were NPIs with DOT. So those are cost share agreements. We'll be paying 50%. I assume we still pay 50%. Some different rates for different towns, but we probably fall in that 50% range. So that could be something that could be formulated if it's priority. And if it's priority for the DOT, then that would come back as a farmer.
Yeah,
But the short-term stuff I can relay to the crew that
Be nice.
it could use some attention.
I mean, those trucks that they use for their construction are just tearing that road up.
Would they really have to pay to repave from Somerville to Southwest?
That was their regular, it's called skinny mix.
Yeah.
They do, it's a 5/8 overlay.
Yeah.
They didn't do any repairs on that road at all. They just put that surface down.
Yeah.
That's a 7-year cycle. I don't know where
Yeah.
Sound Drive is, that portion of Sound Drive is on that 7-year cycle. They're trying to find that out too. If it's coming up and planning anyway.
My 30-some years here, whatever, 40, 50 years, I've known willing to repair it all, so. It would go well with the new bridge then.
It would be nice. Okay, great, yeah, just somebody patching those holes. All right, any other public comments? All right, other business. As you know. As you know, we are starting the process of finding a Durham's replacement. And we have before us a letter and a contract signed with Maine Municipal Association. They're going to help us through this process. And share copies of the documents they've sent me, and they talk about their expertise in executive searches. They have set us up with one of their pros, Jarrett Taylor. And you also had his bio. We have a purchase service agreement. Now it's going to cost us about $6,600 for this, more or less. I mean, there could be things that we need to do where they could cost a little more, so maybe not as much, depending on how fruitful the search is. And what I'm looking for is an okay to go ahead and sign this and get it back to them so we can get started.
I move to get started.
I said you.
I think as long as there's gonna be some kind of contract, right?
That
With these,
is right on the end, yeah.
So
Last page.
I have read it, but they, I mean, we're gonna be able to see everybody that,
Yeah.
that they
Yes,
interview or whatever.
we are all, we're going to be part of the process.
Very good.
They just do all the back work
Yeah,
Yeah,
essentially, and it's,
they do the
A lot.
advertising, they do.
I just wanna make sure we see everybody, not, you know, like, I don't want them to make decisions, well, these guys aren't good enough, so we'll leave them.
No, read this, this will explain it.
Can I just ask also if this isn't like the fee paragraph? They want a $2,000 deposit, but then it says the $3,300 will be due upon finish, which only adds to it only adds to 5,300. Maybe originally they wanted half up front, but I just want to make sure that that's. Anyway.
Yeah, where's the other 1,300?
Right. Just a question. I'm happy with this, with.
I was assuming that that addition
So-
to the advertising.
No, that's something different. Though.
So,
It's not included.
That's why I think if they're gonna bill
Plus
us,
the
plus the advertising will be essentially around 6,600. I mean, I'm reading between the lines, but I think that's what it's saying.
The fee does not include that.
okay, so where are you saying this?
$6,600.
Yeah,
$2,000 deposit.
yeah,
Next, this fee includes, this fee does not include advertising or any candidate expenses,
Yeah.
and then $3,300 at the end.
yeah, if we elect to start over the process.
So I think what that means with the additional 12 or 13 is the advertising, that will take it up to that 6,600.
In other words, they will.
This fee does not.
Right, but if we pay 2,000 plus 3,300.
I get that. I'm saying that this amount does not include advertising. What it said.
Yeah,
Okay.
$3,300.
I'd like to amend my motion.
Yes,
I move that we sign this with the provision that this fee is clarified to us, because it is a little confusing.
I would second that motion as amended.
all in favor?
Thank you for starting that process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, oh, yes. Yes,
You still on other business, right?
yes.
Not good. I was asked to just give a little bit of a report out on shredding day that happened on
Oh, yeah.
Saturday. So it was from 9 o'clock to 1 o'clock, and there was basically a steady stream of people
Oh, good.
for the entire time that it was there, you know, making their way through the rain to bring in documents for shredding. some people brought just very little amounts and others brought, large amounts of sugar materials and filled about half a truck worth.
Oh, great.
So it was a well-attended event and it went smoothly.
I think that was a really great service to.
No, I think.
Yeah.
I looked at, I took a
Well,
lot.
and that was what was talked about is then just the sustainability committee is thinking that this
Yeah.
combination event Saturday after Memorial Day, so you could prepare for it.
Between now and then, people say, where'd you go to do that? Oh, we had an event. Oh, really? When is it? Well,
Yeah,
If
that's
it's
how
not raining,
we
we
could
won't.
post it in the newspaper in America and nobody would go, but.
thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other business?
Well, can I bring up something?
Yeah.
But again, while Brian is here, would it be possible we get no parking signs? No, we have a parking committee, but I keep forgetting to go there and I don't know how to get it all together. From where the Norm Vega parking is, as you're coming down Shady Hill.
Mhm.
It goes into that turn just as you get to the pond. So I'm coming towards. Now that it's becoming overflow, so you're coming down that hill, there's really no room for people to park, get out of their car. And as you're coming down that hill at 50 miles an hour, you're gonna pull into that side. That whole stretch from there to that where there is a little turner, I think should no parking for a safety reason, especially going around that corner.
Yeah, it's a state road.
I know, but we've gotten them to allow, we
Yeah.
did it at the gatehouse.
Yeah.
I think the town asked for it, they would probably.
I was planning to talk to Dave Kearns tomorrow anyways about some other parking areas and parking lots and we're having a meeting tomorrow. I can bring that forward as well.
I mean, that's what I think, and just, you can't, it's a blind corner basically, and they open the door and they're already in the road.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't wanna be the one that hits some kid. And it never happened last year, but it's already starting to happen this year. Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta go to town sometimes, too, you know. Thank you.
Okay, any other? Okay. Treasurer's warrants. Approval and signature, town invoice AP 2575. The amount of $161,456.59.
Approval and signature.
Second,
All in favor? Approval and signature, state fees and payroll benefits. AB 2573, AB 2574, town payroll, PR 2526. The amount of $299,885.
Approval.
Megan.
one abstention, please.
Acknowledgement, school invoices, school payroll, PR 24. In the amount of $221,720.27.
Acknowledgement.
Second,
Favor. Adjourn.
so moved.
Second.
Favor.